Shabbat Shalom. There's a sacred relationship between a rabbi and her tailor. For the last 2 years that I've been at Bethel, I have consistently gone to the same tailor and dry cleaner, and I depend on her for basically my life. Do you understand what I'm saying, Rabbi? No? Okay, well. Every time I've lost a button, every time I've had an unexplained rip or tear in one of my blazers or pants, it is my tailor who has saved me. And she has responded to almost all of my times of need with kindness and grace. She has ironed, she has removed stains, she has hemmed many a pair of pants and shortened many a pair of blazer sleeves. I have had all of my jackets dry clean, my kittle, tallis, all of these things. So, sacred trust. And she knows me. I walk in and she knows what she's going to get. She's going to get some slacks. She's going to get a jacket. She's going to get some brightly colored button-down shirts. But earlier this week, I shocked her. I shocked her. Oh, I came in and I said, do not judge me for this. And out of my bag, I pulled out 35 feet of fabric. Oh my God, 35 feet of fabric. So on a whim, I bought a dress. I'm kind of a tomboy, generally don't wear a dress, but I bought a dress, and it's like a dress with a capital D, and it's like a dress. It has boning in it, if you know what boning is. It has a giant ruffled skirt. It has puff sleeves. It is a little bit low cut. It is a dress. And it was also made for somebody who's like 6 feet tall. So I was bringing it into my sacred relationship with my tailor, and I put it on, and I stood on this little stool, and she tried to figure out how she's gonna cut it to size for me because I am a shorty. And as I'm standing there in this dress, with its boning and the giant skirt and the puff sleeves, and it has a flower print, and it is amazing and gorgeous, and you would never imagine that I would buy such a dress. And she didn't. So I'm standing there, and she's looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and I said, I don't know, I just saw it online, and I have a black tie wedding, and I said, why not? And looking in the window as she's in the mirror as she's putting in all these pins along the bottom because we're gonna take off like a foot from the bottom of this dress. And I don't even recognize myself. It's like shocking to see. And she looks at me and she says, "It's gorgeous." I said, "I know. I'm like a princess in it. It's like a Cinderella dress." For those of you who don't know anything about dresses. Me too. I don't know anything about dresses except that this one has boning in it. And yes, it is a Cinderella dress. And she's like, "You look so beautiful and it is so nice." And I was like, "Yes, it is. But I'm trying to figure out, as I was standing there looking in the mirror, if I felt like myself. I felt like a stranger. I felt like I was someone completely different. I'm going to show up at my friend's wedding and people are going to die. They're just going to fall on the floor and die. Not literally. And I felt kind of like my tailor, like she was also wondering that a little bit. And I've been thinking about this all week. I've been thinking about how odd I felt in this item of clothing that is so different from what I normally wear. And the truth is that it still is myself, right? Our clothes are just one way that we present ourselves to the world. Even if people are very used to seeing us a certain way, and even if we're very used to seeing ourselves in a certain way, there's no reason why we couldn't like shift things up or change a little bit, or I don't know, wear a dress or wear sandals or wear something that's like just a little bit different. I was thinking about it, maybe it seems like a leap. I was thinking about it in relationship to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. We're currently 6 Shabbats away. I know, I heard a gasp. There was a gasp. We are 6 Shabbats, including this one, away from Rosh Hashanah. The start of the new year, this time of introspection, this time of thinking like, who am I? How do other people see me? What kind of person do I want to be in this coming year? What have I been like in this last year? And I think that clothing is a nice metaphor for the way that we think about ourselves in general, and the way also that other people think about us. Well, throughout our lives, let's just say, throughout the last year, we've each responded to situations, we've each been ourselves in ways that most of the time other people probably expect. When we're happy, other people expect us to perform our happiness in certain ways. When we're sad or angry, then other people probably know the way that our anger comes out or our sadness comes out. But just because we have our set pathways, our set ways of being within this world, it doesn't mean that we don't have the capacity to surprise our own selves. And it doesn't mean that we don't have the capacity to surprise other people within our lives. Our actions, our midot, our characteristics, are things that we have some degree of control over. That it is possible for us to make small changes, to make intentional changes, and that those moments that are surprising aren't necessarily bad. They might just be different. We're allowed to be super complicated people. We're allowed to wear the giant princess dress, even if we're kind of a tomboy in the rest of our lives. We're allowed to respond to situations differently. We're allowed to learn Torah differently. But as I thought about myself in the dress and thought about the coming high holidays, I wanted to present a homework assignment to all of us. And as we build up to Rosh Hashanah, I'm going to give us a couple more homework assignments so we can mentally prepare for this moment, for the moment that's coming. So the very first homework assignment that we'll all take on, I'll do it also, so think about where in the last year have you surprised yourself? Where in the last year have you been amazed at an action that you took? Whether that was a mitzvah action, like a kind of ritual or a Torah study or showing up for tefillah, or whether it was a time that you were surprised at a way you responded with patience or with kindness in a way that maybe isn't like how you normally do things. I want everyone to be able to pinpoint the moments in the last year where you were delighted in yourself because it was unexpected. And then after we think about ourselves for a little bit, the second piece of homework is to think about when the members of our community have surprised you. In the last year, when did somebody show up with kindness in a way that you didn't quite expect? That was outside of how you normally perceive someone else. So we're going to start with those two things. What surprised you about yourself, and what surprised you about others. We're going to work up. So be prepared next week to get another piece of homework as we get closer to the high holidays. And we'll see if we can do an act called cheshbon hanefesh, an accounting of the soul, taking a look at who we've been and what we want to grow into in the coming year. And I'll share pictures of the dress on Facebook once it gets finished. Shabbat Shalom.